Hey, what is
Yo,
up? What is good? We are here, house divided. Y'all already know what time it is. Just a little quick thing for y'all folks at home. If you aren't already, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, tap that notification bell so you guys can be up to date for all our latest and greatest content. Guys, we're almost here. Corey, we're almost here. It is the best time of the year. I don't care what nobody says. If you're a sports fan and you like all the major sports, this is kind of the dead period right now. But don't worry, my friend. By the end of next month, no more dead period. We're going to be back in action.
yeah,
Saturdays are going to be cooking college football, baby. And I figured what better to start off with than the conference that's won the last two national championships, Corey, as far as our
got
conference
to,
previews. You see what I'm saying? So
got to.
you got to show your love to the Big Ten. Um, you got to you got to tip your cap to them. You know what I mean? They've
Two
done
years
their
in a
thing.
row.
They've done their thing, man. They've handled their business. So, without further ado, Corey, let me go ahead and get this thing popped up here, and then we'll get into this thing here because this is a
Yeah,
great conference right here to talk about. Okay, this
yes,
shout out to Athlon Sports for this
yep.
great article here. I looked through this here. Corey sent this over to you, man. I was like, hey, we got to bring this on the show, man, because I think this kind of just breaks down every single team. So,
Yep.
without further ado, a lot of people sexy pick in the Big Ten this year, Corey. You got Penn State coming in here, man. They you got the arrival of Jim Knowles as their defensive coordinator. This is kind of as it mentions in this thing here or this clipping. This is James Franklin's. This is his year, man. This is make or break. You're either going to come in here, you're going to win the whole damn thing, which is really what he has to do, in my honest opinion, or you at least have to win the Big Ten and be fighting for that thing. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the team from last year, they came up just a little bit short. They didn't quite make it to that Final Four. They lost. Um, they lost to Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken,
Notre
is the team
Dame
that knocked
in a
them out
close game.
last year. So
Yeah,
it was a close, tight game. I don't know, man. I'm not as
this
high
is
on Penn State probably as you are, my friend. We're not going to get into our picks until the end of this, but they're definitely one of the teams to watch out for in the Big Ten, I think.
yeah. They're to me, they're in like a tier. If you want to put them in a tier with Ohio State, Oregon, that top three. This was my pick last year, and you know what? Franklin does a really good job of retaining some of these guys, especially in the portal era. You know what I mean? He's got Drew Aller coming back, Singleton and Katron Allen. Those two running backs, that's the best duo in the nation. And those guys, this will be their third year in Penn State. Nobody's been able to come in and pry those guys away or lure them away with money.
That was
I
big.
think you know what I mean? And then they really got some really good transfers as far as wide receivers. The kid from Syracuse, Pena, I've seen him play. I like him a lot. And then they got a kid from Kyron Hudson from USC. So they've reloaded that receiver room. I like them a lot this year, man. I love them last year. I still love them.
I mean, they're a great team. Don't get me wrong. I think I'm gonna have to see if they do replace if they replace that the void that
I
is left
Warren.
by the Carter, that
Yep,
edge
that too.
rusher that went to the NFL.
Yep.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. They got Tony Rojas from North Carolina mentions here. Amari Campbell headline the second level. Secondary brings back the best in the Big Ten with cornerback AJ Harris and safety Zaki Wheatley.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see if they can do something, Corey. I'll be interested, but man, hang on. Here it is. This is your defending national champs right here, my friend.
Yeah.
They've got a little bit of a quarterback battle going on between Julian Sayin and Lincoln Keenholz. I honestly think Julian Sayin's going to be the one that gets the nod here. Just coming in here, I believe he's the freshman, if I'm not mistaken. He was a 5-star recruit. I could be wrong on that. Somebody might want to fact check me. Um,
Okay.
but that kid, he's special. They got
Oh,
top quarterbacks coming in here. That was kind of the team's lack, if I could say so, last year was their quarterback position. So I think that they're going to have an even better quarterback position And don't even get me started on this wide receiver room, Corey. It is absolutely by far, bar none, the best in the nation. It's not even close. It's just
Bro,
not.
Carnell Tate, everybody knows Jeremiah Smith's probably the best receiver in football. Carnell Tate can play, bro.
He's a baller.
That dude can play.
Brandon Ennis ain't bad either.
No, he's not. That's what I'm saying. They're not lying. That's the best receiving core. Usually LSU holds that title year in and year out. But this year, Ohio State's got it, bud.
You got it, yeah. By far. Tip your cap off to them. Defending national champions. They're coming into this thing, man. And then they also picked up that Max Clare from Purdue, the tight end from Purdue. Purdue, man, lost a lot of players to the transfer portal, and a lot of them went to a bunch of contending teams. And the players that they lost
at the bottom of the list
are some impact guys. You see what? Yeah, man, Purdue's going to be at the bottom of this list for sure. But Ohio State losing Jim Knowles, Corey, that hurts. You do replace him with the Matt Patricia to be able to bring in. He's got some NFL experience, everything else, so that's going to be great to have that. You arguably got the best defensive player in the nation, bar of not talking about position, and Caleb Downs. I mean, that guy right there, that kid right there, that's a top 10 draft pick in next year's draft, top 15, just depending on how much the team needs a safety. But that kid's he's a playmaker. He's going to be playing on Sundays. I'm a big fan of what Ohio State's got going on over there. Even though they lost Jim Knowles, I think that this is just a train right here, and I think this thing's just going to keep on humming.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, that's my take there. This team right here, honestly, if it were my opinion, I probably would have moved up Michigan above them because I like Bryce Underwood there, but we'll get to that. Just because I gotta see Dante Moore. I gotta see him actually do something. This kid's been transferring all over the place, been going to this school, I want to see him do something on the football field. Dylan Gabriel was there last year. He didn't get a chance to play, but he did transfer in from UCLA last year, even though Dylan Gabriel was there. So he's been waiting for this, Corey. This is his opportunity to take the reins, to really be the guy. Dan Lanning, this is his fourth year. I think what he's done with Oregon is he's taken a program that was good and he's made them almost elite. I say almost with a caveat there, Corey, because you just can't win the big one. You have to win the big one in order to become elite. He got him there.
Is this his third year there?
It's his fourth because he went there the same year that Brent Venables went to OU.
Okay, he don't miss on quarterbacks, bro. He really doesn't. Remember last year we were talking about him getting Gabriel, and we were like, I don't know. Like, they went 13-0. They won the Big Ten last year. They were the #1 seed in the college football playoff. Now, they did get spanked by Ohio State. But, like, as far as them being in the conversation, he's never not been in the conversation. You know what I mean? As far as, especially these last 2 years. But I'm with you, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. I don't know, man. I got to see it. I got to see Oregon take that next step. You thought that they had it all set up last year being the #1 overall seed. You thought they were going to do something special. I mean, hell, Trace last year coming into the season had him as his national champion pick. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trace.
It wasn't looking like a bad pick until that first playoff game. And I think that bye hurt them last year too. I think Ohio State getting to play at home, the way they waxed Tennessee, that kind of gave them some momentum because remember, they're coming off an ass whooping, or not an ass whooping, but a loss at home to Michigan.
That's why I think that's big, Corey, how they did that 12-team playoff last year, man. That doesn't get spoke about enough. As far as those teams that were in that bottom half and you won a top 4 seed, you got that first round bye as a top 4 seed, but that's just longer you have to wait to play the game. You see what I'm saying? And that's more layoff time. You're wondering who you're going to play. And while you're doing that, that other team's already gotten some licks in on another one. I think that was huge because college football can be a week-to-week game. You can pick up some momentum and everything week to week. And whenever you get a big layoff, I mean, Corey, you can allude to this. I mean, when you get a big layoff like that, there's some you know what I mean? You're not things aren't quite as sharp. The timing might not be there as good.
And their
I don't know.
layoff was different from the other 3 teams. Like their layoff, they're sitting around for a good 3 weeks hearing about how good they are. They're the number 1 team. You know what I mean? They're starting to read the press clippings. And Ohio State lost the biggest game of the year, had to sit around. Then they got their mojo back. Because everybody, I picked Tennessee to be Ohio State after that Michigan loss. A lot of people were talking about Tennessee possibly going through Oregon and getting to the national championship. Tennessee was kind of dangerous, and nobody was respecting Ohio State going into that Tennessee game because they looked terrible against Michigan. They looked like hot garbage.
That's fair.
And they beat them, and so you get a sense of confidence, like, oh, we just beat a team nobody was picking us to beat. Why can't we go do it the next week?
But they didn't. And Ohio State became the big Ohio State that they are.
Yeah.
And they handled their business because Oregon got Ohio State in the regular season last year, Corey. It was a really, really close game. Came down to like final second. Yeah, it was you know what I mean? So it's like I'm one of those who believe it's really, 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 really hard to beat a team 2 times. It really, really is. And with this 12-team playoff, you're probably going to see, especially from the Big Ten and the SEC, you're going to see them get 3 to 4 teams in that thing. And especially now that they've changed the format again to where it's the top 12 teams, they don't give a damn about all that conference champions and nothing like that. It's going to be the top 12 teams in the nation are going to be in that thing. I like it.
That's how it should be.
It should be. Corey, it's going to be a lot of Big Ten. It's going to be a lot of SEC in that thing. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Next, number 4 according to Athlon checks in with the Michigan Wolverines. This is a team right here, Corey. They got the number 1 over. The most. Bryce Underwood, man, that kid's special. Number 1 overall player in the nation coming out of high school. They flipped him from LSU too, mind you. So that was huge. I don't know how they pulled that one off. Shout out to Sharon Moore on that one, man. That was a great pickup there. You know what I'm saying? Yes, absolutely money. Their defense, they're returning a lot of players from last season too. They were a younger defense last year because they had all those players from that year previous from the national title team that kind of left and went on to the league. You had these guys that came back. They kind of took some lickings last year. You know what I mean? There were some growing up terms, things like that. Buddy, they didn't have a Bryce Underwood last year, though. They didn't even have anything close to that. This is going to be a big, big, major difference. Major. And when you look at their non-conference schedule too, Corey, I mean, they play against Oklahoma. They pull up here into Norman, and they come see my Sooners. And then you got Ohio State that's playing against Texas in week 1. I mean, it's going to be they're headlining the SEC versus the Big Ten in non-conference this year, and you got some great matchups there. But Michigan, I just think they're getting a little slept on here. I think that we're going a little bit of recency bias here from last season, but we'll see. Whenever we get to our picks, you'll see what I think.
Yeah, look, I think they ended the season perfectly. You beat Ohio State on the road. You beat Alabama in a bowl game. And like you said, they didn't have Bryce Underwood last year. Now you got a legit quarterback. And Sharon Moore, I think he got his feet wet last year as a real, like, having the program to himself. Right. It took a little while. It took half a season, but they figured it out. To me, this is the most intriguing team because Bryce Underwood has the most upside of any quarterback in this whole conference. You know what I mean? If he is who we think he might be, holy shit, watch out.
Usually when players come out as the number 1 overall and they're just the dude, usually they become the dude. But we'll see, man. I mean, that kid, all the tape that I've seen on him, everything that he's been doing in the offseason, now granted that's not playing yet. We're going to really see what they're about week 2 when they come pull up into Norman. We'll see. That's going to be an ABC primetime game. It's going to be big. We're going to see.
Night game?
Yep, in Norman. Night game at the Palace. Night game at the Palace. This is another team right here, Corey. You know a little bit more about this team as far as the coach. You were talking. Everywhere he goes, he wins.
He just wins, bro.
So talk to me about a little bit about Indiana. It seems like you know a little bit about them.
Signetti's look, bro. Like I said, everywhere he goes, he wins. Was that James Madison, kicking the shit out of D1 schools. You look up, they're beating North Carolina by like 50, who was good that year. This dude knows how to coach football, and what he does is he recruits his ass off. And so what you've seen is he went in the portal his very first year there and won 11 games, and he made it look easy. This is freaking Indiana, dog. This is a basketball school. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And now, so he lost his quarterback from last year. I forget the quarterback they got this year. He got the kid from help me out here. I'm drawing a blank. I was just reading about him too. Fernando Mendoza.
Fernando Mendoza. Yep, that's
from
it.
California. Yeah. So
Yep.
that kid can play, man. Like I didn't see too much California football last year, but I do remember seeing some highlights of him. It's just for him, it's going to be if your transfer portal kids hit. They're not going to have the athletes that Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State have. But what he does do is he out schemes people. He's one of the biggest and brightest minds, and he knows how to run. He knows how to run a program. He was under Nick Saban for 10 years, I think. With stop to stop with Nick Saban. And so he's seen Nick Saban turn schools around, and that's why he's so good at doing it. And the secret sauce is hard work and outworking in your competition.
You
That's
ain't
all
lying.
he does.
You ain't lying
You know what I
there.
mean?
It's not,
So
man. Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm saying this team intrigues me as well because when you think of a Signetti team, he never has the best athletes, but the dude consistently wins 10 to 12 games everywhere he goes, especially the second and third year. That's when you see the biggest jumps. His first year, they won 11 games. So
That's
you're
crazy.
talking about there's a real possibility that in the last week of the season, they'll be in a scenario where they can clinch a Big Ten title berth, championship game berth.
And he was taking over an Indiana team that just frankly was not that good the previous season before that. So he brought in a lot of transfer players the last season, and it was pretty successful for him. They just couldn't get over the hump with the big guys. That's just all it is. And frankly, Corey, I think it's going to be a little bit more of the same, but I could be wrong. I wouldn't be upset if I'm wrong. I always like the Cinderella stories, things like that. But I think that you got a top 4, possibly a top 3 in this league that's going to be untouchable. That's just where I think it's going to come down to. Illinois is another team that's kind of, they're a little intriguing. You know what I mean? They had a nice season last year.
10-3.
Yeah. They went from 5-7 to 10-3 as far as that goes. Who's the coach here again?
Brett Bielema, who can coach his ass off too.
That's right.
So that's why they're good, man. And they're gonna beat you up in the trenches. And you know what they do? They will run your ass over. And you know how many of their linemen they're bringing back? All 5 of them.
I was about to say they brought them all back.
They're bringing back the whole O-line, bro. This is another sneaky team. Do I think they'll win the whole thing? No. Do I think they can ruin somebody's season or clip somebody?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Catch somebody slipping or something on a night game. And one of their whole, like it'll be a home game in Illinois, and the whole crowd's gonna be there, gonna be hyped up for it, everything.
You can see them beating like a Oregon one week and then losing to a USC the next.
No,
you know what I mean? That's who Illinois is probably going to be.
They're gonna beat these guys. These guys.
Oh, now you know about these guys. I'll let you have this one.
Bunch of bums. It's just a bunch of bums. Really, is what it is. A bunch of bums. Just bums. I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. Lincoln Riley is terrible as a coach. He's went over there and absolutely fell flat on his face. That sun and that beach might be just getting to him a little bit too much over there, Corey. He's just not. He's not living.
15-11 over the last 2 years. 15-11. My bad. Go ahead.
No, keep going. No, you're helping my point here. You're helping it.
Not good.
I mean, he went 11-3 in his first year. Everybody thought, "Oh my gosh, we have the guy. We found him. Here it is." No. You found the guy that takes other coaches' players and does things with them. You never found a guy that can recruit and develop players. He never does. He hasn't this whole entire time. The only player he recruited and developed, and I'll give him credit for it, is Caleb Williams. But I think Caleb Williams was already a little bit special. I don't think it really took a whole lot of grooming with that kid. But when you had another one in Spencer Rattler, how'd that work out? Not very good. Anybody else, I'm not giving him credit for Jalen Hurts. I'm not giving him credit for Kyler Murray. I'm not even giving him credit for Baker Mayfield. Damn it, because Baker Mayfield got put on the team because Bob Stoops let him come transfer there. So he was living off of Bob Stoops players, and then he goes over here to USC, and he's just not good. He's never been able to figure defense out, Corey. I don't know what it is. I mean, USC's got money. Why you couldn't go throw some money at Jim Knowles? Why you couldn't go do? You tell me the Penn State Nittany Lions have more money than USC? I don't think so. I don't think they do. I really don't. It's just Lincoln just is. He's an offensive coordinator. He's a great offensive coordinator. I will give him that. He can scheme up some stuff. He's just not a very good coach, man. He doesn't know how to handle his roster. And it's just been evident. I mean, I'd be surprised if Lincoln Riley, if he has another year like what he's had the last 3 years, I'd be surprised if he has a job. I think they'll buy him out.
They gave him everything. They bought his house here in Oklahoma. They bought 2 homes for him in California, access to a jet. I mean, if all of that's true, man, they gave up a king's ransom to get this dude from Oklahoma.
They sure did.
You guys might have lucked out.
Well, I mean, it hadn't been just dandies and roses over here with us either. But when you think of it in the grand scheme of things in the long road, yes, I believe we did. I really do.
I just haven't played football my whole life and been in the locker room. I don't know how he relates to kids. It seems like he doesn't. I don't know, man.
He doesn't relate to kids. He doesn't have control of his locker room. Some stuff I heard from whenever he was at OU, man, he didn't have control of the locker room. Like, guys would show up to practice late. They wouldn't do that. I mean, we've talked about this stuff before. I don't want to sit here and sound like a broken record player as an OU fan, because really, good luck to you, bud. Good luck. But, I mean, really, he's in a conference, Corey, that, frankly, you're in the bottom half of.
Well,
I'm putting them in the bottom half, Corey. They're not in the and damn it, there's 18 teams in this league.
Yeah.
I can name you 9 teams in the Big Ten that's better. I'm taking these guys right here, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh, yeah, because they push them around. And that's USC's problem before we get to Iowa. They're a finesse team in a power conference.
Right.
This is a conference where you get to mid-October and on, you're in cold weather games. You're going against teams that love to run the football, like a Wisconsin, like a Illinois, like Ohio State, like a Michigan. And they just don't stand a chance against those teams. Not until, like you said, he figures out defense.
I'm curious here. Before we move on, I want to look at something. Hang on.
Yeah.
I should see. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think, when I think USC football now, I don't think toughness. And you remember some of the great USC teams that Pete Carroll had? Like, those guys used to maul people up front.
Wow.
I don't think USC does that anymore.
They were tough. Yeah. USC football. I just want to see their schedule real quick, and then we'll move on. I'm just
pull it up so we can all see it.
Buddy, this is brutal. This is gonna be tough. Bad? Actually, it's pretty favorable.
I heard they're trying to get out of that Notre Dame series, which is like one of the best oldest rivalries in college football. They're trying to get out of that.
I mean, why wouldn't they? They can't compete.
And that's what makes it worse. Notre Dame's over there playing the national championship games.
Let me pull this up here. So looking at this, Corey, hang on. So they got Missouri State. That's a dub. They got Georgia Southern.
Dub.
They should beat Purdue. They should beat Michigan State.
They'll be fine.
I don't know about Illinois. Yeah. I think this is where it starts getting really, really tricky for him, Corey. I don't know about Illinois. I'm damn sure not gonna pick them against Michigan. Damn sure ain't picking them against Notre Dame. Dylan Raiola in Nebraska might beat them at Nebraska, just to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you Northwestern. Iowa, hold up. And then you damn sure ain't beating Oregon, and that UCLA game is a toss-up.
Yeah. Ooh, buddy, he can be fired. Look, if that Illinois, Michigan, Notre Dame, Nebraska stretch.
You don't even have to play Ohio State or Penn State.
Yeah, you can't lose to Illinois, Nebraska.
No,
look, if they
absolutely
lose
not.
to Illinois and Nebraska, that means they would have lost to Michigan and Notre Dame as well.
And you
I
can't
think
have
if you lose those 4 in a row, there's a chance he gets canned.
And you can't have a blunder on November 7th at 8 p.m. against Northwestern. I'm just saying right now, don't do it. Don't you do it.
Yeah, and Northwestern's good for doing that shit, bro.
So that's what I'm saying. Don't do it. Don't sleep on them boys.
Yeah, so, you get them at home though, so that's good. But the road games for them,
tough.
Yeah, the Nebraska game's gonna be tough. I think you're right. Matt Rule can coach. Nebraska's gonna be better this year.
Yeah, they are. Here, let me get this off here. Sorry, I pulled the wrong one up here. Let me get our other one back up here, and then we'll get back into. Corey, really, we only have to do the top 10 on here. I don't feel like we got to go all the way into the bottom half of the Big Ten.
Yeah, we can skim through it. We can just
really, number 8, they got Iowa in here. Iowa, can they get the offense figured out? If Iowa could just get a damn offense that could score over 20 points a game, Iowa's an 8 to 9 win football team. Easily.
You'd have to fire Kirk Ferentz.
I get it. They ain't gonna do that though.
No.
They ain't gonna do that. I mean, that's kind of their guy right now. Yeah. So the schedule is tough. They got games against Iowa State, they got Wisconsin, they got USC and Nebraska, along with dates versus Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana. So the schedule makers did Iowa 0 favors.
No favors.
They got that's messed up. Looked like they got the schedule that freaking Lincoln should have got. So that's kind of messed up right there how they did Iowa. But I mean, this is like flirting with the top half of the league type of team right here, Corey. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Nebraska, to me, this is my sleeper team in the Big Ten. Not to win the whole damn thing, but one of them that you better look out for week in and week out, because I don't think Raiola's getting enough credit that he should. I think this is him coming into his second year. I think he's going to ball out this year. And they've got some playmakers in there, too. They dug into the transfer portal as well. Matt Rule, I think, is going to have this thing kind of flipping in the right direction here. They went 7-6 last year. That was their first winning mark since 2016. So they're trending in the right direction, as it says here. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I like this Nebraska team. I kind of like what they've got over there just because of a Dylan Raiola. And I've said it many, many times before. In college football, your quarterback can eliminate a lot of things that look bad for your team.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those guys. So
100%. And look, they'll be fine. I can see it. I see what you're seeing as far as a sleeper. I think 7-6, it'll be at least 8-4. You're gonna see them win some games, and you're like, oh, and possibly 9-3. And year 3 is the year for Matt Rule traditionally.
I mean, come on, let's be honest. Nebraska's a blue-blooded college football. College football is better when Nebraska's up there. I'd like to see the Big Red be good again, man.
That's a cool place to play, man. That, like you said, when they're good, college football is good.
This team right here, they've been having a lot of recruiting buzz. They got in the transfer portal as well themselves. Everybody gets in the transfer portal anymore. It's like that in college football. You better get with it or get lost, honestly. But Washington's another team. I'm not saying that they're going to be great or anything, but I could see them definitely bouncing back from where they were at last year to being like a 7-8 win team. You know what I mean? I think the Big Ten is going to have a few teams up there that's got about 7-8 wins. There's going to be a lot of those.
I thought last year they were going to crater. The fact that they won 6 games, I think it says that in the beginning. Yeah, it does. The fact that they won 6 games was pretty good. I thought they were going to be hot garbage.
Yeah.
I'm pretty look. I try not to comment too much on the transfer portal because Florida State, what happened to them last year, they're supposed to have like all of these guys come in. You just don't know what it's going to look like till it's on the field.
Right.
But if you say it's good, man, I'm pretty sure they'll be better than 6-6 this year.
Absolutely. I got them
You know?
going 7, 8 wins tops.
Okay.
And then kind of just going through here, I mean, Minnesota, can I be real?
Rowed a boat.
PJ Fleck he's like one of the most overrated coaches I've ever seen. Like, they talk about this dude like he's something special, bro. He did nothing.
Yeah, bro. He had that
Like,
1 year. I think they won 8 games or 9 games, like his
but,
second year there.
but he did nothing but get a few guys to the NFL.
He kills me in that goofy ass tie he wears.
Wisconsin, Luke Fickle. This is going to
I,
be his second year over there.
I expected more from Luke Fickle by now. Now he's
Yeah,
only this will be his third year, right?
I believe this is his third season. Yes, sir.
He's just 13-13. They were 5-7 last year. I just expected more out of him. I thought that was a big hire coming out of Cincinnati. I don't know what they've done in the portal or what the class looks like, but I expected more.
Yeah, Wisconsin's kind of one of those places too, though. That'd be a hard place to go coach at. You know what I
Not for
mean?
Brett
Like,
Bielema. Brett Bielema, when he was there, they were cooking.
well, yeah, I mean, but not everybody can do that. It's not just a given. I mean, this just goes to show you that whenever you come into a big boy league playing big boy football, this can happen. You know what I mean? You ain't got a Sauce Gardner at Cincinnati over there no more. You know, he had that 1 year at Cincinnati, really. That's all he had. Or wasn't really, I mean, he had some good years here and there, but overall, he had that 1 year where Sauce Gardner was the player over there, and they gave Bama almost everything they can handle. They just couldn't do it. But I don't know. I'm not really sold on this Luke Fickle guy. I think he's just a little overrated over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Being
saying.
real.
Yeah.
Just being real. Rutgers, I mean, they had a good basketball season. I don't think it's going to be very good in football, though.
They didn't have a good basketball season either, man.
Michigan State, See this bottom half, UCLA. It's just tough.
Oh, no, stop there. What's Nico gonna do? Nothing. I don't think he has the horses around him.
You talking about Nico at UCLA?
Yeah.
Nico is not what they make him out to be, if you got my honest opinion.
And I think you're right, and I think they're gonna see that real quick.
Yep. He's overhyped. All right, Northwestern. I mean, this is one of those teams, bottom of the league. They're going to catch somebody slipping in a late November game that nobody thinks that they're going to win. It's going to be a rainy, cold-ass day, and they're going to catch somebody. Other than that, there's not much to really talk about with Northwestern. Maryland, same kind of deal. And then Purdue, they lost absolutely everybody to the portal. They get to play against some of their players, though, and they get to see some of their players succeed at other teams. That's what they'll get. That's what they'll get to do. Like, if we're just being real, that's what they're going to get to do. All right. So the moment that we've all been waiting for. Here it is. This is our pick. We'll drop this off the board here because we don't need that right now. All right, Corey. Who's your Big Ten champion next year, sir?
There's a reason that there's one team rated at the top. Out of all of those teams in the top 4, top 5, only one team's bringing back their starting quarterback. I talked about this at the very beginning when we talked about Penn State. The way that Franklin has retained his talent, kept Drew Aller, Singleton, Keytron, Allen, all of those guys stayed. Big Ten champions will be Penn State Nittany Lions. Undefeated season. They're going to run the table.
Undefeated. Woo!
Undefeated. They will not lose a conference game.
I wish I could get down with you, but for the sake of the show, this is how we always get down around here, man. This is a house divided. And we're definitely divided on that, man. because the defending national champions reside in Columbus, the Ohio State University, the
I
Buckeyes.
knew it.
Those
I
guys
knew
over,
it.
buddy, Jimmy's and Joe's. Jimmy's and Joe's. I'm just gonna keep saying it, Jimmy's and Joe's. They're gonna win it again easily. There's nobody on Penn State. I don't give a damn if Jim Knowles is over. He ain't covering those three receivers, and you damn sure ain't covering the tight end. I don't care. It's another thing that I said last year, Corey, with the quarterback Will Howard. Everybody was giving me grief about it. I said it don't matter when you got what you got around them. Give me Ohio State. Ohio State. And honestly, Corey, I don't even got Penn State number 2. I got Michigan at number 2. I think it's going to be Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State following after that, and then Oregon after them. That's what I think. And I think all 3 Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State all make it into the top 12. That's that's my
Penn
hot
State,
take.
Ohio State, Michigan all make it in the top 12.
Yep.
I can see Oregon probably squeezing their way in there somehow too. I think you're going to get 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten.
I think Oregon out of those 4 has the worst quarterback. And that's why I think it's going to hurt. And I think that's why it's going to hurt them. I'm not a believer in Dante Moore. And now, granted, Bryce Underwood hasn't proven a thing, but neither has Dante Moore. But the credentials and everything with Bryce Underwood, man, I'm just that cat and everything I've seen. He's a dude. I'm just getting ready to tell y'all right now that cat can ball. Like, I'm really nervous week 2, him pulling up in the normal. I hope he does not torch us, bro. I just hope he doesn't. But you look at that, and then you got the quarterback at Penn State, and then Ohio State. Granted, that's another freshman. But Dante Moore, man, I mean, there's a reason that he left UCLA to come over. I just don't think he's that good. I just don't.
All right. No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And my biggest argument against Ohio State for this year was disproven last year. Because just like you said, they got a new quarterback, unfamiliarity. What's it going to look like? National championship. And so it's easy for me to say we don't know who's going to play quarterback for them. Well, we didn't know that last year. And they just went out, lost 1 game, and won the Natty. So
yeah, it don't matter.
I'm still taking Penn State. I think Penn State beats them. I think the cohesion and the talent they brought back. I think it's Franklin's time too, bro. God damn, if there's ever a time to win the Natty, Franklin, at Penn State, this would be your year.
This is it.
Agree on that?
This is it. This is it. I mean, we're going to hold up on the Natty. We're going to hold up on the Natty because our next show, we're going to talk about the SEC. I think there's a few teams over there in the SEC that might have something to say about the Natty. Yeah. I'm not saying that they ain't going to be in the conversation for it by any means, Corey. But
Final Four last year? They did the Final Four last year, right? I think their path was easy because they caught they played SMU in that first round. And then who did they play the second round?
Wasn't it Boise?
I think Boise, and they beat Boise. And they wound up playing Notre Dame in that semifinal and losing.
You're right. And then they lost to Yep. That is what happened. They did make it to the Final Four. They did. It's one of those things, though. You're going to fall into that in the top 12. But that's why I don't think we're going to have that this year with the top 12 being the top 12.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's a smart decision what college football did. The next thing that they need to look into, just a little tidbit to kind of close us out here, Corey, they really need to look into this transfer portal thing. It's too open. It's too flaky. Honestly, man, it's kind of ruining the game, Corey. It really is. Because players used to go to colleges and stuff because of the love of the program, the love of the university. And I'm not sitting here saying boo-hoo me and everything else because I'm one of those old school college football fans. I agree with everybody just as much as anybody else that these kids deserve to make their money. Don't get me wrong, okay? They deserve it. But the free movement that these kids have, just make it to where when you transfer, you have to sit out a year and you lose a year of eligibility. That's what I think should happen. Now, granted, I still think you're still going to have players that move because there's going to be schools that, hey, come over here, sit out a year, but I'm going to give you this bag whenever you get done. or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. So that's gonna happen. It's the wild, wild west right now in college football, man. And I just hope that somehow, some way, we can regulate it.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to that point. I think everybody's kind of disgusted by it, to be honest. I think you got a lot of coaches trying to fix the problem. The NCAA doesn't help anything.
No.
And I think what we really need is a reset on the whole governing body of what college football is, because it's a new entity now.
Well, and it's going to matter. It matters too what state you live in, Corey, for crying out loud.
Yeah, see, all of that's got to be under one umbrella. I the only thing that should matter for states is your income tax.
Yeah,
that's about it. Everybody should be playing by the same rules. And to me, the NCAA, this is a bigger story. If we could do a whole nother episode on this, they need to go. They need to go.
I think
because they have too much control and they've messed up too much up until this point. You know what I mean? And their model, they're never going to get to a model to where college football is a pro sport now. It's not an amateur sport anymore.
Yeah.
Kids are getting paid to play football.
Yeah.
And once they realize that, then we can get them out of the way. We have no use for the NCAA. None of us. No, there's not one university or conference that really needs them to conduct business. You get one governing body with some rules like a real corporation, pay rates, salary caps, contracts, and let's move on. Treat it like the baby NFL, because that's what it is.
That's why you're seeing some of these teams, though, in college. This will be my last little point, and then we'll hop off of here. You're seeing some teams take the kind of like an NFL approach. They've got front offices now.
The general manager. Oklahoma State has the general manager.
Yeah,
and we don't got no money.
OU does as well. OU's got Jim Nagy over there, who used to be the guy over there for the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. So
we got Kenyatta Wright, who used to play at OSU back in the 90s.
Man, the teams, I think, that jump ahead of this and start getting that, because it is coming down the pipeline. There's going to be some regulations on this, especially I think the SEC has announced that they're going to be breaking away in 2028. So I think Big Ten's going to probably follow suit with that.
They're going with them.
When you have those two major conferences break away from the NCAA, bro, this thing's going to break open. Yeah. It's going to break open. It's going to be crazy, because at that point, then the SEC can be like, okay, you're structured to this. This is how much money you have. Nobody's going to have more money than the other person. So that, to me, if you're a Texas fan at home, or if you're somebody like an A&M fan at home, you better be upset by it, because the playing field is about to even out.
Yeah, they can't throw their shoulders around.
You can't throw all them damn money around that y'all got over there. That's the only reason why they're sniffing any damn thing, because before the money became into play.
That's why pro sports have salary caps to keep an even playing field.
Absolutely.
And so, if you're Texas right now and you're A&M, you got all that oil money, I'll be pissed too. Because you had a better hand. You came into the game with a better hand.
Those schools been waiting for times like this. They've been waiting for it. And, buddy, they're stacking them. They're stacking them. I'm telling you. Them boys was getting their ass kicked for years, and then they finally was like, all right, you can pay the player. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Up to the top they go.
I didn't know there was that many damn oil tycoons in Texas like that. I know it's a big state, but damn.
They got some bread over there, buddy.
Texas Tech was paying the pitcher for softball. How much they paid her?
1.2. 1.2. Oh, they upped her for 1.5 next season. Yeah, she's coming back. That's already solidified.
Yeah.
That's not going to matter, though. OU's we're going to take back dominance next year. Just saying.
Okay.
They will. They're going to be back on their. But anyways. We're good. It's a football show. We don't need to get into no softball here.
Okay.
But anyways, man, that's my take there on like this little NIL thing and everything. I'm not salty. I'm a little salty about it, but I'm not totally salty about it, because the Shorthorns, that's the only reason why they're relevant. We'll get into all that whenever we get into this SEC talk, man. That's going to be the next show. You guys are going to have to come and join us. We're going to be talking about the SEC next. That's it. You got anything else for us, Corey?
Nah, man, that was a good show. Go Nittany
Guys,
Lions.
y'all already know. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're not already. Also, too, help us post this thing on the X, put it on Instagram, put it on the TikTok.
Share it.
Help us share it everywhere. Y'all be good, be blessed. We'll see y'all the next time whenever we get on here and talk about this SEC. Y'all be good.
Peace.